Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my chemistry class once again, where we were doing something regarding the discussion about solid states, right? You remember in my last class I was teaching you something related to how come you can make the atom make the complete crystal in three-dimensional structure. So I remember we started with let's first consider everything in 1D. Then I said no, now you start keeping one over the other to form 2D, right? So basically we were doing the close packing. We did the close packing, right? And when we were discussing about the close packing, I said that first of all you will be starting with one-dimensional cubic close packing. Okay, guys, you remember when we were discussing about one-dimensional cubic close packing? I simply said that in this case, the atoms will directly touch each other in a line. And when the atoms are directly touching each other in a line, so we said that, see, they can come close to each other. So one of the atom was directly surrounded with two other atoms, and hence we said coordination number was 2. You remember we discussed this? After the discussion of one-dimensional close packing, we then moved on to two-dimension. So when we were discussing the two-dimensional the close packing, I told you that there are further divided into two different types. So we have type 1 2-dimension and we had type 2 2-dimension, right? So after that we started with the type 1 close packing, which was in 2-dimension, and this was square close packing. So when we were discussing about something related to square close packing, what did I say? You remember I said that this will be kept close to this, close to this, close to this, right? All of them were touching each other. Then the second layer, see, the first layer, let me call it to be A. How A? Because they are placed exactly close to each other, right? After that, I remember telling you the second layer was placed just at the bottom of the first layer. So this is the second layer that will be placed at the bottom. Fine. Then we moved on to the third layer, and the third layer was also exactly similar. Right? Then I particularly remember saying that consider the center of all the spheres and then touch them. So when they will be touching each other, it will be finally forming a square, and hence we discuss the details about the square close packing. In square close packing, we have discussed that the coordination number was found to be, look at any one atom. Let me consider this pink atom. This pink atom is in direct touch, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the coordination number was found to be 4, right? After that, now we need to begin up with the type 2 close packing in 2 dimensions. So let me move on to type 2 packing in the 2-dimensional, which is known as hexagonal close packing. Hexagonal closed packing. Okay, so now let me tell you in details what do we mean by hexagonal close pack structure. Listen carefully. What I am trying to do, I'll draw the diagram more properly now. We'll consider one sphere, another sphere, third sphere, fourth sphere, fifth sphere. Okay, I have considered all the 5 spheres. The center is this. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will place the second sphere in such a way that it touches both the spheres together. See carefully. So I am placing the second sphere, I have to draw it little bigger. So I will be placing the second sphere in such a way that it comes into the middle of first and the second sphere. Like for example, I'll draw a sphere like this. I'll draw a sphere like this. Can you understand what I'm doing? I'll draw another sphere somewhat like this. I'll draw another sphere somewhat like this. Fine? Similarly, let me draw another sphere. And somewhat like this. Fine? Now I will be drawing the third layer in such a way that it exactly copies the first layer. So let us say this is first layer, second layer, third layer. Again you are drawing the sphere so that you can form a triangle. Something like this, something like this, something like this, something like this, something like this. Okay? Now try to understand carefully. So wherever I have shown some spaces, so that is just because I couldn't draw it properly. Otherwise what you can do is, we can highlight it so that we finally understand that they actually touch each other. See, each sphere is touching the simultaneous sphere. Okay. So having done something like this, if I ask you to choose any one particular sphere, I like this one. Let us choose one sphere. So when you are choosing this particular sphere, can you now find out how many atoms are directly touching this particular sphere? Like how many atoms are in direct touch to this sphere? See carefully. 1, I am numbering it. This, see, this is touching. 2, this is touching. Okay, they are touching each other. Then come on here to the white atom 3. Come on here to this atom 4. I will write 4 here. Come on to this atom 5th and come on to this atom 6. So can you say 6 atoms are directly touching the red atom in the center? So the coordination number will be found to be 6. Okay. Now having discussed this, let me finally move on to why this is particularly named as hexagonal close packing. What is so special about hexagonal close packing? See, join the center of these two spheres. Join the center of these two spheres. These two spheres. These two spheres. Two spheres. Two spheres. Oh my God. I can look, it looks exactly like a hexagon, right? A hexagon with 6 faces. So this is the reason why this kind of crystal structure arrangement is known as hexagonal close packing. See guys, look here carefully. So now on the board, I'll start from the very left hand side and we'll move on to the right hand side. So I was talking about close packing. When we were doing something about close packing, I said we will go into 3 different steps. The first was one-dimensional cubic close packing, where you arranged all the atoms in a row. Okay, guys, there was no other option or no other possibility was there to arrange the atoms in one straight line, right? Only one straight line option was possible and I did it. And from that, I got the coordination number 2. Guys, see, when the atoms will be placed and they will be forming a huge 3-dimensional crystal, I always want the atoms to be as close to each other. See, I have these 4 chalks, right? When they'll be kept close to each other, it will be rigid. It will be completely solid. But say they are randomly lying one after the other. So they can easily move, right? But when I am talking about a complete, rigid, solid structure, I want maximum coordination number. Okay, so here the coordination number was just 2. So it was like okay types, but not very good for us. Fine. We then started moving on to two-dimensional close packing. So now the topic was 2D close packing. What I was doing, I was just arranging the one dimension in such a form to get two dimension, right? So when I did so, I got the very first scale was square close packing structure. So what was there? 1D, another 1D, another 1D, right? So actually they are composed of 1D, 1D, 1D only, but then they are stacked together in such a way that one layer exactly falls below the other layer, and this is known as square close packing. But in square close packing the coordination number was less, it was 4. I am not concerned about coordination number now. See carefully why I asked you to come here. Look at the empty spaces. Let me color the empty regions. This much. Don't you think the empty spaces are actually too much? See, too much amount of empty spaces there. Consider this. Now again, don't you think this is too much of an empty space? See? So empty spaces are actually too much. That is why this is not a very good kind of solid arrangement possible, okay? Because the empty spaces, which are also known as voids. So many voids are there. After the type 1 square close packing, we then moved on to type 2, which is now known as hexagonal close packing. So when I was talking about hexagonal close packing, you can see here that now if I ask you to look at the voids, guys, don't you think this void size, the size of this void is much smaller than the size of these voids, right? So don't you think now here, okay, the problem here was the coordination number is also less and the voids are more. More voids, less coordination number, right? But if you moved on to this structure, you can see the coordination number is more. Moreover, the voids, consider the voids, look at this one. So there is a very small void, right? So this has voids which are small, whereas the coordination number which is also bigger. So this is much preferable a structure compared to the other type of two-dimensional structure. Fine. Now guys, you remember when we were discussing about the two-dimensional structure, I was finding out the percentage fraction, right? The volume actually occupied, and last lecture we got the answer as 74%, right? Now let us try to figure out that if there is hexagonal close packing, what is the percentage or let us say what is the packing fraction in the case of hexagonal close packing in two dimension. See here, my aim is to figure out the percentage efficiency, packing efficiency in case of hexagonal close pack structure, right? So what is supposed to be done? See carefully. I will put an atom in the, okay, let us do like this. Let me start making atoms. So one atom is to be prepared like this. One atom to be prepared like this. One atom to be prepared like this. One atom, one atom, one atom, one atom, and one atom, right? But you need to remember that the central atom will touch all the other atoms. This is okay, right? Now let us try to figure out how to find out the packing fraction or the packing efficiency. Guys, again what you would do as a mistake, I told you this is two-dimensional, right? So if it is two-dimensional, you need to simply write the area occupied divided by the area available to be multiplied by a factor of 100. Am I right? So what is the area occupied? Area occupied means area of one atom multiplied by number of atoms to be divided by the area available. So what is area available? See guys, let us first try to figure out the total number of atoms. See, don't you think it is 1/3 of the atom? Why? See, I can divide it. So only 1/3 part is there. Plus 1/3. Plus 1/3. That means these three will constitute one atom as a whole. See here. 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. That means one another atom as a whole. Finally, one complete atom, right? So making it a total of 3 atoms. Multiplied by, what is the area of one atom? Let us say each atom is having a radius of r. So area will be pi r square. So you got everything in the numerator. Let us come on to what is the total area available. See guys, this is the total area which is available. This is hexagon. Let us consider the side edge length of the hexagon is A. Okay. So what will be the area available? Guys, look at the center. Can I draw 6 triangles which are equilateral triangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 triangles. So can I simply write 6? Each triangle is having the edge length equal to A. So see, each triangle is having edge length A because it is an equilateral triangle. So what is area of equilateral triangle? Root 3 by 4 A square, right? Put it here. Okay. Let us try to figure out the relationship between A and R. Guys, see R plus R and this is A. So can I again write A is equal to 2R? Substitute the value here. You will get 3 into pi into r square to be divided by 6 into root 3 into 4. A will be equal to 2r whole square. And if I ask you to multiply it with 100 and then I am asking you to solve it, you will end up getting the value as 91%, which is way too greater than the value for square close packing which we did, which was 74%. Okay. So guys, now this was all about the two-dimensional close packing. Now after this, we need to move on to three-dimensional close packing. But before we continue, I would like you to note down everything so that I can start further. So guys, having done with the close packing in two-dimensional arrangements, I think we should now come on to packing thing in 3 dimension. Okay. So we have close packing in 3-dimensional structures as our topic. So let us start. We have finally another topic as close packing in 3 dimensions. Okay. So we now want to try out what is close packing in 3D. So there are three types of close packing. One is simple cubic close packing, which can be written as of the type AAAA. Then we have second type of close packing, which is also known as hexagonal close packing. The hexagonal close packing is also known as AB close packing. Third is also known as cubical close packing, which can also be known as face-centered cubic close packing. Face-centered cubic close packing. Guys, this is little confusing topic, so I'll go very slowly and in very much depth as possible. So this is ABC type close packing. Okay, so let us finally start with the very first close packing, which can also be named as simple cubic close packing. See guys, what is there in the simple cubic close packing? You remember we did one dimensional close packing, which was like this. After that we moved on to two dimensional close packing. I am starting with this form. Guys, see, so this was square close packing, right? Okay, now what I am doing is I am placing the second layer. So this complete is known as layer number A. Fine, complete layer is layer number A. Now I am gonna place the second layer exactly on the top of first layer. See, if you will see, double color chalk means the second layer is exactly overlapping the first layer. See guys, so this layer was here. Now what did I do? I placed one layer on the top of this and one layer exactly on the top of this. Okay, you can see. So this will represent what I'll be getting here. Can you see if I combine them? The void so formed and this void so formed is exactly the same as this void which is shown on the board. Now after this, so this is the second layer that I have placed. After the placement of the second layer, what I am doing is, I will place, so this second layer is also known as A because this is exactly the same. The third layer that I will be choosing will again be the same one. Exact same. No. So this is known as A type close packing. So what do we mean by AAA type close packing? That means it is exactly same. All the layers are exactly similar. Now guys, if I ask you, now remember my first layer was yellow. Yellow was my first layer. After that I remember placing white as my second layer, and then I place the pink one as my third layer, right? Now listen very, very carefully. Don't you think if I ask you to choose the white atom which is present here? The white atom was present in which layer? In the second layer. Choose a white atom which is present in the second layer. And now I am asking you to tell me the coordination number. So you need to tell me the coordination number of the white atom which is present in the second layer. So let me draw the white atom which is present in the second layer is directly touched by another white atom present here in the same layer, another white atom present here in the same layer, another white atom and one another white atom, right? So there were 4 white atoms which were directly touching this concerned white atom in the same layer, okay? But I told you 2 times that this is not 2-dimensional, it is 3-dimensional close packing, right? So below the white atom, do you remember there was a yellow atom? There was a yellow atom, right? So now the yellow atom will be directly touching the white atom, okay? So we have got one yellow atom which is directly touching the white atom from the bottom. And finally, we have one pink atom which is there on the top layer. This is also touching the white atom, okay? So making it a coordination number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. So coordination number equal to 6. Clear enough? Once again let me say, one white atom is directly touched by 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. 6 are directly touching. So the coordination number in the case of simple cubic close packing is 6. Okay? Now having discussed this, let me try to figure out what will be the packing efficiency. Guys, see, if I am asking you to figure out the packing efficiency, don't you think that all of them, see, when you are placing one over the other, don't you think they are directly forming something like what we have done as primitive unit cell? Why? What was primitive unit cell and how can it be correlated here? See carefully. In the case of primitive unit cell, we had a cube which had atoms, and I remember saying that the atoms are directly touching each other. See, 4 atoms were directly touching and then there were 4 atoms at the bottom as well. Can you figure it out? So 4 atoms are there on the top, 4 atoms are there on the bottom. And don't you think, guys, below this blue atom, you can directly see this white atom. Right? Below this pink atom, let's say, you can see another pink atom. So see, everyone is placed below the other. Let me color this as blue. So below the blue atom, I am having the blue atom. Below the pink atom, I have pink atom. Below the first yellow atom, I have this yellow atom. Right? And below, which color is left? So yellow is done, blue is done. So below the white atom at the bottom, we have this atom. So can you now picturize this as one layer and then as the second layer, right? So if this is done, how many atoms are there in the unit cell? Don't you think the number of atoms per unit cell is? So, number of atoms in one unit cell. How many number of atoms are there? There are 8 atoms, but each atom is present at the corner. So overall, only 1 atom per unit cell, right? So what will be the volume occupied? So now you can say that volume occupied will be 1 into 4 by 3 pi r cube, right? This I am asking you to divide it by the volume available. So what is volume available? This is a cube, right? With the edge length equal to A. So volume available will be A cube. Am I right? But now we need to figure out the relationship between A and R. See guys, this is A, which is R plus R. So A is equal to 2R. Substitute it here. A is equal to 2R. And finally, if you solve, you will end up getting the value 52.8%. Okay. So guys, once we are done with the this particular unit cell where we have completed the simple cubic close packing structure. Okay. Now I want you to note it down properly so that further I can move on to the next section. Guys, I think everyone is now done till the first type of cubic close packing, simple cubic close packing that we have written. Now it's the time that we need to move on to something complicated. But again, I think by this point, whatever I have explained must be clear to you. So if this is clear, the upcoming part will also be very easy for you guys. But we'll go slow. Now the second thing that we have is another kind of close packing. Listen carefully. I will not give any name to this. I'll give the name later on. So there are two types of close packing. You remember we were doing hexagonal close packing. So let me just write hexagonal cubic close packing. What is there in hexagonal cubic close packing? Let's try to understand. I am having one atom like this, one atom like this, one atom like this, and like this. Okay. Now I am trying to put the atoms of the second layer in such a way that they form a triangle. Okay. Here also place them in such a way that they are forming a triangle. Place them in such a way that they form a triangle. This is bad. Let us try to place the third one again. So I'll be placing the third one in such a way that it forms a triangle. The fourth one in such a way that it forms a triangle. Or I should draw it again. Guys, give me a sec. One atom. So we have 5 atoms like this. These are the centers. Now I want to place the next ones like this. And I am placing the next one okay, that is enough. See guys, once again, I place the first atoms like this. Let me now start placing the second atoms. I place the atoms in such a way that I am getting an upper triangle. Can you see an upper triangle? And this is empty space. So let it be called as C. I will be calling it as C. Okay. let me place the other one in such a way so as to again form an upper triangle. But when it was forming an upper triangle, you will see automatically a downward triangle is also formed. And this downward triangle is called as B. Okay, I just gave it a name. Now again I am trying to form an upward triangle. Again I am trying to form an upward triangle. Again I am trying to form an upward triangle. I think everyone is okay till the time I have shown you the upper triangle here and the upper triangle here, right? And also you can see a bottom triangle here and a bottom triangle here, a bottom triangle here. Okay? Not only this, let me draw the third layer in such a way that my mind says form a bottom triangle. Now I can see a bottom triangle. Right? Bottom triangle I am representing in pink color. Now I am preparing the upward triangle to be represented in white. Again I am asking you to prepare an upward and a downward. So this is the downward, this is the upward. So guys, listen very carefully what we'll be decoding. Again let us work for another a minute or so. One more. Okay. So this is somewhere here. This is somewhat here. Fine. And the upward triangle like this. Cool enough, right? Now see guys, if I will try to place, so let us say this layer is A. This is complete A layer. Now I am trying to place another layer on the top of A layer, but in such a way that I want to cover the triangles. Let's say now I am placing a blue atom. So guys, can you see when I worked on for the placement of this blue atom, the upper triangular void get filled up because you are placing it over it, right? Try here. When you are doing the same thing here, can you say another upper triangular void is getting filled up? Do the same way. Can you see another upward triangle, white triangle getting filled up? Do the same way. Another upward white triangle getting filled up. Fine. Now what you have to do? You again have to keep in mind that you are trying to place the third atom in such a way that it falls in between these two. So when you will do that, you will say the downward blue, this one blue white triangle is getting filled up. Go here. This will get filled up. Start here. So guys, what I am trying to say, when you are placing the second layer on the top of first layer, then either the white one will get filled up or the red one will get filled up. That means at one point of time, not all the triangular voids can get filled up. Fine. So either the white or the red triangles can get filled up, but not all of the triangles can get filled up at the same point. Okay. So now this was the second layer. So now I'll call it as B layer. So the blue layer is now known as B layer. Fine. Now what I'll do? I will now try to place a third layer. The third layer which I'll be placing will be exactly same as the white layer. Okay. So what I'll do? A, B, then A. So guys, see carefully. I am making A layer, B layer, A layer, B layer, and so on, so on, so on. Fine. And this is known as AB, AB, AB close packing structure. Fine. Let us do one more small thing so that everything is there in our mind. If I am placing one layer like this, so can you say this is my A layer? I am asking you to place the B layer on the top of A layer. Like this. Why like this? Because see, this yellow one can cover this triangular void. This triangular void can be covered by this yellow one. This triangular void can be covered by this yellow, and this triangular void can be covered by this yellow, right? If you cannot visualize, I can draw the rough diagram here. Is it now okay? So A layer, then B layer. And now again I am asking you to put A layer. Or you can say one more thing. You place a B layer at the bottom. That's okay, right? So you can also call it as B, A, B, and then again the same thing A. So again it is same as saying AB, AB, AB layer, right? And if it is same as saying AB, AB layer, listen to me very carefully for one more minute. Choose this as the central atom. Let me say this is chosen as the central atom. Can you now tell me how many atoms are directly touching this particular central atom? How many atoms are in direct touch with this central atom? Can you say, ma'am? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus. Yeah, these are there on the top of blue one, no? 7, 8, 9. Plus, these are same as the bottom, at the bottom of blue. So, 10, 11, 12. So, can we finally say that in the case of a hexagon, and why hexagon? Because you can see a hexagon is being formed. Because our starting molecule also, we could visualize a hexagon was being formed, right? That means in the case of hexagonal close packing, the coordination number will come out to be 12. Okay? And the hexagonal close packing can also be known as AB, AB, AB type close packing. And that is about the presence of the atom or the arrangement of the atoms in hexagonal close packing. But guys, that doesn't mean that we are done with the complete topic of hexagonal close packing. I would like to continue this thing in the next lecture again, because now we need to move on to what is the percentage efficiency of atoms in the hexagonal close packing, okay? But that is a huge topic, so for now only I will ask you to take rest, understand what we have done. With this prerequisite knowledge, in the next lecture we will be moving on to the calculation of percentage packing fraction, okay? So with this thing, I would like to take a break so that you people can relax, enjoy, study well, so that I can meet you in the next class. Take care. Bye-bye.